outside corner.
You got to be careful.
Tulowitzki thought this ball was away or down, and it may have been down. 2-1 Atlanta. Well, while you were away, Tulowitzki hung around the plate. Renee Latchman got down there to continue the argument with Marvin Hudson. But watch this. Troy's still barking, and Hudson threw him out.
But that's where Hudson just needs to walk away. But I also said a moment ago, before he wins the break, be careful.
And they said, no, your right elbow is way too valuable. You have to hit only right-handed. Mark Ellis upset with the strike zone. A home plate umpire out of the corner. Oh, he's been rung up and thrown out of the game.
There's no way Mark Ellis gets thrown out of a ball game. Everybody in baseball knows what you can and cannot say to get kicked out of a game, and Mark Ellis won't say it. So I'm not sure why he got run right there. Obviously got upset, bounced his helmet after he was tossed.
Oh, goodness, someone else has got tossed out. Is that Don Mattingly?
Those are some quick hooks. What's going on? That's what Don Mattingly's asking, why? The pitch is outside. Mark doesn't like it. He's like, come on. Not saying that's not a close pitch. He said that's so bad, and now he's going to get thrown out for saying that. Saying that is so bad is not enough to get kicked out of a ball game. Now, if you drop some F-bombs in front of that, maybe. But he
I started to walk forward a little bit, but he still just got to the dirt.
Oh,
That hit the ground, didn't it?
Hit the ground. Here comes Charlie Manuel. He's going to come up the stairs. Delman said it hit the ground.
No. And they asked Cedarstrom, and he said no.
Maybe it didn't.
They appealed. Sounded like
it really did. And McCann's initial reaction was that it hit the ground. I thought he was looking for a new baseball.
Sounded like a double thump there. It sounded like two sounds. It sounded like the swing and then it hit the ground. And Carapazza said, "Hey, I asked," and he said the same thing.
So now Charlie's going to go argue with Gary Cedarstrom. All right, take a look. And this ball hits the ground.
Took a short hop.
Yes, it did.
Great job by McCann to catch it somehow on the show.
I honestly think McCann was looking for a new baseball, Wheels.
He was. He knew it hit the ground, and that was really flagrant. It's hard to believe he could miss it by that much.
You know, this is a 6-4 ball game. One base runner, and the tying runs coming to the plate. Charlie has every right to argue it. It wasn't going to help, and now Carapazza is hearing it from the Phillies bench.
Yeah, and he's saying, "Well, I asked." That's bad. That was a bad one. Because you could hear the sound. You could hear it click off the hit off the bat, and then you heard the thump on the ground.
Well, this is a very competitive guy in Charlie Manuel. This has not been an easy couple weeks for him to stomach. I mean, he's been through a lot during his big league career. He went through last year when the Phillies were well under 500 and came back and finished at the 500 mark. This is a little different, though.
Cedarstrom let him have his say after he threw him out. Yeah, this one's really obvious. You should really see it from this angle. Oh, man, that's really bad. Look at the dirt kick up, too. How can he not see the dirt kick up? Look at it. Look at the dirt. Poof. Look at all that. Oh, well, what are you going to do?
So McCann is reaching back. Well, maybe he was showing that he caught it.
Now they're going, there goes somebody else.
I don't know who it is. It's either Mick Bill. I think it might be Chase Utley.
It looked like Utley because he was leaning forward and yelling the loudest. Now they're saying who? You got to go.
So Cedarstrom's walking over toward the Phillies dugout.
Well, at this point, these umpires know that they were wrong, but obviously too late, and now they're going to just try and settle things down.
Charlie's still in the dugout. Was it?
Well,
I don't know who it was. Was it Rollins? It might have been Rollins. There he goes down the stairs.
Markakis is 0 for 2. He has struck out and popped foul to the catcher. And a high strike. Markakis doesn't like the call. Questions with Larry Vanover. Nick rarely does that, and Vanover's hearing about it from the bench.
It looked like the changeup kind of faded off the plate.
Buck has just been ejected. That was a pretty short fuse there by Larry Vanover. Of course, we have no idea what Buck said, but
right. Looks like some frustration. Steve Johnson made some pitches in that last inning that were kind of borderline. It could have gone either way. Take a look at the changeup here from Ramirez. Nick Markakis, better than anybody, certainly well aware of his strike zone. That one appeared to be off the plate. Take a look at the pitch track.
Not even close. It's not even close to being a strike.
Yeah, up and away.
You're down by 4. You're looking for base runners. That's a tough call because instead of 1-1, it's 0-2. This is a long and very animated confrontation here.
Buck Showalter definitely standing up for one of the best hitters in the game. Certainly one of the best batting eyes in the game. When Nick Markakis shows disapproval of the strike call, Buck Showalter certainly there to support him.
Well, as the replay showed, it wasn't close to being a strike.
Victorino went around, strikes out, and it ends the inning. So the Red Sox leave him loaded. As it turns out, Victorino didn't think he went. Here it is now 5-2, Houston on top. 1 out of the inning for David Ortiz. And he will take the ball outside at 95 miles an hour. Ortiz was 4 for 4 in last night's game, is 3 for 3 today, and Shane Victorino has just been tossed from this game, and I have no idea why.
Now, the third base umpire Knight is the guy that must have threw him out because Victorino came out to argue with him.
Well, Shane Victorino had struck out swinging to end the 6th with the bases loaded. I'm not sure where this started here, but the conversation with third base umpire Brian Knight. Then he got tossed.
For what? What did he do?
Very tough to tell.
I mean, other than having a conversation with the third base umpire.
We don't know what happened prior to that.
No.
Well,
but I mean, from what you just saw right there.
Yeah.
I mean, there was chirping going on. There's no question about that. But it was not in front of anybody.
That is a night for Shane Victorino.
Appearance covering 14 innings. And he gets a strikeout here.
This stuff is apparently just plain filthy. With the strikeout numbers and everything to go along, Jason Castro and Bo Porter are arguing this cannot be the case.
That ball bounced, they're saying, to Mark Carlson.
Was it foul tipped is the question. The ball was in the dirt and it is being ruled a foul tip. I don't know if that. Let's see what we can hear.
So Mark Carlson, hearing that sound, might have thought foul tip, but it might have been the ball hitting the dirt. And Bull Porter is hot, as Jason Castro was. Castro was convinced he did not make contact with that ball.
And all Bull Porter appeared to be saying is, why don't you check down at third base and get somebody who can actually see the play, maybe have a different opinion. Problem is, at this stage,
well, it looks like that was it. Greg Gibson, I believe, gave the boot to Don Cooper.
Logan will not pitch to Prince. And Hunter's still beefing. Here comes Jim Leyland.
Well, Jim's going to tell Will Little to get his head out of the dugout.
And it looks like he got tossed. Hunter's been thrown out of the game. Well, Torrey had a legitimate beef on that pitch that was called strike 3. It was riding up and in and popped out of the catcher's glove. Didn't appear to be close, but they called him out.
Jim has a look of disbelief on his face. Now, you mean seriously? You threw him out of the game?
Little still looking back into the Tigers dugout. And so apparently the Tigers have lost Torrey Hunter. It is a controlled talk from Leland. Here is Hunter back in the Tiger dugout. And now the ejection. Actually, you know, Max Scherzer may have been the one that was jawing there, because Torrey is staying in the dugout, and they signaled to Max Scherzer, who was leading out over the railing.
Goodbye, and he strikes out.
Scalzo not happy with the call. It's like it may have just caught that inside corner. Frustration mounting.
Been a strike all
for
night,
St. Louis,
hasn't it? Left-handed batters have been getting that pitch, and Scalzo just got thrown out. Mike's going to, in a polite way, try to say, throw me out too. I want to jumpstart my team, even if it's with 2 outs in it.
I may be in the minority. I thought the pitch looked pretty good.
I did too. Too close to take.
Now, what I'm sure Mike and what Daniel will talk about is what we've talked about all the times. Players adjust to the zone and saying, hey, that hasn't been a strike all night.
I think it has been, though.
Prospect shortstop through their system. And hits that one hard, and another boot by Seager. That ball's going to go all the way off the sidewall. Gomez not going to stop. He's on his way home. No throw made. Carlos Gomez's mad dash around the diamond.
Oh, nice coaching by Ed Cedar. I mean, you talked to Eddie before the ball game saying that he was going to be very aggressive with the throwing arms in the outfield. Ibanez doesn't throw well. Gomez wasn't even at third base when he had the ball in his glove almost. Gomez never slowing down and able to score. Another error by the Mariners, number 3 already, and really in the 4th inning.
That is shocking that he can score, Gomez, on this ball right here. That's the 2nd error by Seager. It took the big ricochet and goes all the way off the sidewall.
And instead of a double play ball, it's a run in, and Saunders thought he was going to be out of the inning there. That ball was hit well. Man, Bobby Thompson, the acting manager for the Mariners, want to find out if there was some fan interference down there along the left field line.
Yeah, the crew chief here in this situation is Tim Welke. He's the one doing all the talking now. Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire. So if a fan touched the baseball, obviously that changes the way this goes down. You can see what he's saying there. Did he touch it? Did he touch it? And they're going to put him back at third base. I don't know. We'll take a look at it. Ron Renicky wants an explanation now.
Man, why didn't they say it right away then? I'm not sure what they were looking at when the play was going on.
I mean, Tim Welke's the guy who's out there. He's the third base umpire.
I mean, he's right on it. He's close to it. And if somebody touched it, didn't nobody touch that ball?
I don't know how you say he touched it and you're the guy who makes the call.
He initially said that he didn't make a call. There was no touching of that baseball. Then they got together, and Corey Blazer and Bruce Dreckman apparently convinced them that a fan touched it, and they got to stay at second base. Yeah, I mean, you got to be sure in a situation like that.
That's what Ron Renicky, you figure, is pointing out, that look, you're the home plate umpire. You've got all this to deal with. You got a runner coming home, and you're going to overrule the third base umpire. And he's not going to change their mind. And Renicky is hot.
I don't blame him. I mean, you know, the Brewers have been getting the short end of the stick this entire road trip.
Now they're going to throw him out.
Yeah, you make a mistake, the umpires, and then you throw the manager out. That's brutal. It's amazing. It's amazing some of the calls these guys are making these days.
So the Brewers manager ejected, and he is giving it to Dan Bellino.
I mean, how could Dan Bellino see if there was interference? He's at home plate. Tim Welke is right on the play. He didn't see anything. Oh well.
I'll tell you what's probably a little more shocking is that the crew chiefs don't normally, you know, get overruled very often. You know what I'm saying? And he's the guy who is making the call. And let's just see here. If he gets a hand on it.
Man, maybe he did.
Yeah, maybe it's tough to tell. The ball, I don't know. It did look like maybe he got a piece of that baseball.
But still in all, I mean, was it that obvious that they're going to overturn it? I guess.
So Renicky is gone, ejected in the 4th inning.
I mean, it took what, 3 or 4 replays for us to see it? How'd the umpires see it on normal speed?
Ahead of what they had all of last year in the victory department. A strike 3 call. Escobar was thinking otherwise and showing it. And he's been maybe thrown out of the game here. No, he's still in at the moment. But the Rays are upset, trailing here 5-0. Thanks, Matt. So Joe Matt going to have to use a different third base coach. Tom Foley got ejected after Escobar was upset about the call.
Well, look at James Loney here. Watch A.J. Ellis. He moves his glove back over the plate. He sells the call. James Loney saying, you got to be kidding me. Home plate umpire Paul Nowert says that's a strike. A.J. Ellis again. This is almost in the dirt. Pull the glove up. Strike 3. Escobar does not like it. Again, sells the call. Home plate umpire says that's a strike. There's no way it's a strike. Now, Tom Foley, he says, come on. He's a third base coach. You can't call it high, low. A.J. Ellis is moving his glove all over. Paul Nowert heard enough of it. Ran Foley.
Strike 3 call over the outside corner. The Braves threaten, can't break through in the opening inning. The third and final out was a strikeout of Chris Johnson.
Well, that was too close to take. The pitch before I thought was a ball, but Chris could have gotten away with it with the bat toss and the helmet fire because he was only going to get fined. But when he turned and said something right there, he was gone. Watch Joyce. Bat, he's kind of watching him. He holds the ball, then he sees the helmet, and then he got him. When he turned around and said, when Chris turned around and said something, that was it.
Here from Neal.
And Outman will throw to second base. The out call there.
Oh, my goodness.
And here comes Clint Hurdle. They cannot believe that Adrian Johnson gave Tulowitzki that call. Tulowitzki did not appear to be on the bag. It's going to go as a double play. Here comes Hurdle.
Adrian Johnson walking the other way. Hurdle has to go all the way out in the right field just about.
Outman's throw appeared to pull Tulowitzki well off the bag and frustrated Clint Hurdle. You missed the call. You missed the call.
I don't think
he's not going to last much longer.
He's not staying in this.
He's
game.
gone. Three times, 4 times, he said, I don't know what he was talking about getting in my face. Clint Hurdle ejected.
That's unfortunate. We'll get to see the replay here, but boy, that's a big double play for the Colorado Rockies. After the bobble, you think Outman's just going to get one out.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep. Somehow they're able to turn 2 despite the bobble. Get a better look at it here. Tulowitzki off the bag as he catches that ball. Johnson right in front of it.
The Allegheny Health Network Supermo. It appears closer with the Supermo.
Yeah, much closer.
Back in. Swings and misses at a fastball in off the plate. And he barks at Carapazza as he heads, and he just got ejected from the game.
Well, that's
Vic Carapazza runs his dribble Cabrera, who's now up in his face. And Terry Francona comes out to pick up the argument, but Cabrera's day is over. He didn't like the call, as you pointed out, and then he let the umpire get the best of him, swung and missed at strike 3 inside. And
he got the best of himself. He swung at the third pitch, which was not a strike. He swung at that one. It was a ball. And understandably, you're a little upset. But that's frustration. It's all starting to show right now. The way they're playing, mentally, they're just beat up. I mean, Francona has nothing else to do. He's got to go protect his guy. But you take your team out of it. So now he is no longer in this game. We'll see if Villa's coming in as short. But, you know, that ball goes. That's the one he called the strike for strike 2. Show the next pitch and watch him swing at it. They didn't make him swing at that.
One down. Michael Brantley
on that. The 2-2.
Ooh, that was a strike. He missed that one.
And AJ and Hugh Darvish headed for the dugout. And Ron Copeland said, no, come on back here.
Hey, Ron. Well, I won't say missed it. That's a borderline pitch. It can go either way.
The payoff pitch coming. Low ball 4. And AJ and Ron Copeland. AJ has been thrown out of the game. He is all over Ron Copeland about that 2-2 pitch. And Copeland said, I had enough. And Ron Washington couldn't get out there in time as Krasinski popped up right after the ball 4 was called and got into Copa's face. And that breaks up the chance for a perfect game. That 2-out walk here in the 6th inning. Wrecking ball got him swinging. 12 strikeouts for Yu Darvish. First base run of the Walker left stranded. We have finished 6. Rangers 2, Astros nothing.
And that one's driven to left center field. Barnes circles underneath it. He's got it. Sogard's going to tag. He's going to try for third. And he is out. He's called out. And
guess who?
A little argument. But that's an out that cannot be made.
Nope.
So that's how the 8th inning ends. Without Melvin getting thrown out.
By the same umpire who's had 3 calls.
So 9th inning coming up, and we're tied at 1.
Bounces in and hit him. And down to first base goes Carp, but the umpire's saying no, it didn't. Bill Welke's shaking his head. He wants him to come on back, and Farrell's going to come out to dispute it. Carp said he was hit.
Carp just took off to first base.
It's an automatic reaction.
It's almost like one hopped him. The ball hit the ground before it hit him, if it did hit him. See a slider down in the dirt. One hop.
He said it got his foot.
Whoa, that's hard to tell.
Very close.
He wasn't limping around either.
Based on his reaction, I would say he probably thought he was hit just because he did it so quickly. But they're going to get together, give John Farrell
they didn't
benefit.
see it, so he's got a hit.
He's going to come back. Batters hitting at just 171 against Kelly in the last 35 games. And Carp will strike out. He's going to be very hot. Right up into the face and has been ejected by Bill Welke. And this will bring John Farrell out. Seven to 3, Yankees on top.
And that's going to get away from Pena. Getz. What's going on here? Pena doesn't even know where the ball is. And Getz is getting all the way to third.
What is Pena saying?
Well, it wasn't fouled off, was it?
He didn't swing.
Pena never moved.
That they may review next year once they implement.
It did hit his bat.
The replay. Yes, it did.
It hit the ground first, but then it hit his bat. The tying run gets all the way to third.
Here comes Bob Davidson. He's thrown him out.
Bob Davidson, the umpire at first base. Did he throw him out?
He did.
Oh, my goodness. Now Leland's going to come out. The skipper's going to go at it now with Muchlinski. Ground ball fair inside the bag. That'll get a run in. Escobar drives in a run with a double down the left field line. And it's a 3-3 game. So I guess you're calling that a wild pitch, right? Yeah, wild pitch. Now Pena getting into it with Muchlinski.
No, he's gone too. He just threw him out.
Well, they're dropping like flies now. Pena's hot. Leland's hot. They've both been ejected. This is not good.
And Strasburg buries a fastball. To his credit, Upton gets up and runs to first base, and that should settle a thing or two between these two ball clubs. At least that's the way it used to be in baseball. And warnings have been issued. There's Simmons, and that's a wild pitch on a curveball that really got away. Oh my God. That's a fastball that hits the backstop and deflects into the seats on the right side. And over to third base is Schaefer.
I mean, even after a warning, that pitch was so far behind Simmons that Marvin Hudson was leaving Steven Strasburg in the game.
Strasburg misses on another one. He's been thrown out of the game by Marvin Hudson. Strasburg has been ejected. You know, the Braves dugout is up in arms. I don't think they saw the signal. I did. And Strasburg's done. 3 consecutive wild pitches. Totally losing his release point. And Davey Johnson is out of the lineup, or out of the dugout.
But once warnings are issued, it's up to the home plate umpire. It's his discretion. I'm up there thinking Strasburg was wild, but now I don't know. I'll tell you what's a scarier thought is if he didn't mean to do that, because those 3 pitches were nowhere near. Because Rafael Soriano has been anything but automatic of late.
Now it's the low strike, and Hairston doesn't like it. That hasn't been a strike tonight, and Hairston's ejected. And if Bryce Harper can't play the outfield, the Nats would have to bring Chad Tracy into the game with a glove. And Hairston is really hot. That is something that could be tough for the Nats defense.
Well, let's check out the pitch first of all.
He's got a beef.
97. Bottom of the zone. McCann with a good frame. Kind of went right across his knees, maybe a little bit lower. With a 2-run lead, the last thing you want to do is wake the Braves up with this crowd.
Jose Lobaton with a game-ending home run.
Ooh, did he? I don't know. Didn't look like much of a swing.
Guys get aggravated when the home plate umpire makes that call without checking.
Yeah, we'll get another look at it here. I mean, pretty aggressive start, but man, no way is that a swing.
Cuzzy is really John with
Dale and Jamie Quirk getting after him pretty good, and rightfully so. Cuzzy missed that one.
There goes Dale. Here comes Dale.
Yeah, why not ask for help? How can you take that yourself?
And Tom Hallion over near the Cubs dugout. David Bell running some interference to try to keep everybody else in the ball game.
I'm sure one of the points Dale's making is, look, as good as Wainwright has been this afternoon, he doesn't need any help, and you probably did need a little bit on that call.
Well, it was a terrible call. And I don't understand why and how the home plate umpire, even if he went around, even if our replay showed clearly he went, why wouldn't you ask it first?
Yeah, I just think it's a reaction play. I mean, like I said, he was kind of an aggressive load, and he started aggressively, but clearly was able to check.
Wow, I mean,
just his instincts let him down there. He'll see the replay of this later on and realize he missed the call.
Am I overstating it saying?
Well, boys, what do you think?
That was interesting. Yeah, that was.
Be more interesting to see where this one is.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure that was on purpose. I'm guessing he probably had expected something like that at some point.
Well, this is the first time we've seen something like this since Alex Rodriguez returned, and I think we can say with some certainty what the intent was after Dempster hit him on the 3-0 pitch. Joe Girardi livid. Ryan Dempster did not get tossed out of the game. Warnings were issued to both sides by Brian O'Nora. So Girardi's gone. A-Rod down at first base. Dempster stays. What'd you think, guys?
It was intentional as it gets.
Yeah.
First pitch is behind him. Okay, I'm sending a message. I don't like what you stand for. And then he throws two more inside, and then the 3-0 pitch, he throws one, not up at his head, hit him in the elbow guard and then in the ribs. But to me, it's ridiculous. You had your chance the first pitch to send a message. Don't send it on the fourth one. And look, I know they warned both teams. But if I'm CC Sabathia, I'm sending a message back because I'm not a fan of what just happened right there by Ryan Dempster.
Even though he'll get tossed.
Willie Wilson for the Royals. Great speed teams that help you score runs.
2-2. Reyes is called out. He didn't like the 2-strike call. He certainly doesn't like strike 3. And he's letting Ted Barrett know about it. And Barrett is the crew chief. Reyes has made his point. He'll go to shortstop. Now he's throwing him out. Boy, he was looking to throw him out right there. Ted Barrett had a chance just to let him walk out to shortstop, but Reyes threw his helmet back toward the dugout, and Barrett was watching closely. As soon as that helmet hit the ground, he threw Reyes out. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
Center field, it is caught. It's going to be he drops the ball, now fires to second, and it is a double play. He's tagging everybody, but it's a double play to end the inning. Did he make the catch? Now they're saying that he didn't make the catch. So who's going to be placed where as John Gibbons comes out and talks?
This ball hits the ground, in my opinion. We'll get the definitive look here.
Well, I don't think so, David. I think the glove was under there.
Wow.
I think the glove was under.
Yeah, I think I might have to reverse my decision on this end. I was wrong.
Wow, so close.
Well, that sure looked like a short hop, and you see Gibbons is going to argue.
Now, David, this is the perfect example of some people's complaints because they go, okay, let's say that it's reversed on replay and you say made the catch. Well, where do you place runners? Who's that? I mean, the umpires get a lot thrown into their lap at that point. What happens?
Kinsler off the end of the bat, but still hits it pretty hard. He will pick up his 24th. Now he's on his way to third as he can't get the ball. Now he's going to score.
Well, I got to believe what Viciedo should have done was put his hands over his head because the ball got trapped under the pad. But when he played the ball, it becomes a live ball. If he just puts his hands over his head and motions for the umpire to call it dead, he would have. But I think Greg Gibson is going to tell Robin Ventura as soon as he started
to try to get the ball out of there, the ball stays in play.
Well, he did give him that look. Yeah, he's got to walk away from that one.
Got to walk away, put your hands over your head, clasping one hand in the other, and now
he's got. There should be some common sense ruling, though.
I would think so, seeing as the ball was trapped under the pad. No doubt about that. The problem was Viciedo couldn't locate it at first. He was actually 2 feet in front of the ball, and well, let's see if Robin wins this one.
No. He's not going to win it. If he was, he'd have won it by now.
Yeah, I think Greg is explaining. He lifts his hands over his head and walks away. We give it to him.
That is not, yeah. That is not, I mean, there's got to be a common sense ruling on something like that.
And
now it's gone.
Robin gets a heave-ho. That's the 3rd home run given up by Sale. This of a most unusual variety.
Well, there's no question Robin has the point. There's no question about that. But if it's not in the ground rules, even though the point doesn't win, and as an outfielder, Viciedo doesn't know the rules. Okay?
No, and if he did, he would have done
Just
what we talked about.
Walk away from it.
Now, right here, he loses track of where the baseball is. But then he goes searching for it and grabbing for it. And that's, in the opinion of Greg Gibson, keeping it a live ball. Now Robin's going to get his money's worth with Jerry Lane.
Well, right there, in my opinion, Greg Gibson should have right there have called time when they made eye contact. He should have called time right there and made it a ground rule double, because that's what the ground rules say.
That 2000 draft, you know who the first overall pick was? No. Adrian Gonzalez to the Marlins. Rocco Baldelli was the 6th pick. Chase Utley the 15th pick. Ground ball right side, long fields, and flips to first. And the home plate umpire, Paul Nauert. Justin Upton just got thrown out of the game as he made contact and rolled down the first base line. Upton grounded out to second, and with his back turned, sprinting down the first base line, was ejected by Paul Nauert.
Well, this is absolutely 100% a carryover from the called 3rd strike back in the 3rd inning, but knowing the situation with the Braves outfield, this hurts.
But nobody in the ballpark knew Upton was saying anything except the umpire.
During the commercial break,
Mark Parent, who was out there to innocuously take out the lineup cards, got the heave-ho. So it's not the all-time record, but it's pretty close to it, as he doesn't make it to the post. And now Robin Ventura comes out. He wants a word, and find out just exactly what the magic word or words were.
Now the turn of the rubber. Here he comes. Strike 3 called. Off-speed pitch to Jesus retired. The Rays leave him loaded.
Well, as we go to the bottom half of the fourth inning, in between innings, Joe Madden was barking at home plate umpire Greg Gibson. That pitch was a little high and around the plate. And Greg Gibson said that was enough. Joe wasn't done. Joe said a few more words. And unlike yesterday, where Jerry Lane kicked out Mark Parent before the game started, Joe Madden at least lasted 3.5 innings today. So Joe has been booted. Davey Martinez will take over as manager. And the Rays trail it 5-1. Now, that's the bad news.
Taken as an outfielder, then converted to a pitcher. Puig held. I'm not so sure.
I think a lot of times those strong-armed outfielders are drafted. They give the kid the chance. Yeah, it looked like a swing by Puig. They give the kid a chance to establish himself as an everyday player, but they always have that plan B in mind. This kid's got a good arm. The hitting part doesn't pan out, we can throw him on the mound.
Play for Castillo.
Oh, Swim just got ejected. Wow, that was quick.
Lance Barksdale just kicked Dale out of the game, arguing that check swing. That might be the earliest ejection of Dale's young career.
Yeah, he was, he and probably others from that Cub dugout giving it to Barksdale, and it escalated. And Barksdale kind of gave him a warning, and Dale kept going, and he threw him. That's a quick thumb.
Not a lot of listening going on.
Residential dentist from the stretch, and the 2-2 hit him, and Maxwell is livid. He slams the bat down, and now kind of staring at the Duno, and Ryan Domit is walking Maxwell up the first base line, but Maxwell staring at the Duno, and Maxwell got hit in the upper left arm near the shoulder, and he was none too happy about it. Slammed that bat down, and Domit had to pop up and kind of walk Maxwell to first, and now Alan Porter has issued warnings early on today, and Cardi can't believe it. Well, Danny, warnings were issued yesterday by Hunter Wendelstedt after Andrew Albers came inside, did not hit Salvador Perez. This was after Perez hit his first home run, and now Porter has thrown out Gardy. So Gardy's been ejected by Alan Porter. The warnings were issued yesterday, and warnings issued right away. And Caduno, as we have told the story many times, he has that fastball that can go anywhere, and he hit Maxwell, and Porter just came out, issued warnings, and Gardy came out to discuss why, and Porter gave him the gate. What do you make of just what happened?
Well, I think you touched on it. That Duno is somewhat wild. We've always talked about the uncomfortable at-bats the opposing team has against him, and that was just a ball that ran up and in. I think Porter reacted based on the way Maxwell reacted, and that is he slammed his bat, stared out at the mound. I like what Domit did. He kind of came up and got in the grill of Maxwell and told him, hey, get your butt to first base, all right? Guy's not throwing at you, and you've got to know a little bit, have a better feel for the game as to who the players are, how they play, how they pitch. And I think Alan Porter is one of those guys that maybe still has a learning curve, because if he knows anything about Duno, he knows he is a little bit wild. Unfair.
It's the 9th batter Duduno has hit this year.
Ball 4. Back-to-back bases loaded walks. Aaron Crow has walked in 2. Ned Yost not happy with the strike zone. 8 straight balls thrown by Aaron Crow. Will Little, the home plate umpire. And Yost has called for Tim Collins, the left-hander. Ned Yost has just been thrown out of the game by the home plate umpire, Will Little. And now Yost is going to air out his complaints to the home plate umpire. He was on the mound when he was ejected from this game.
Well, Will Little made a call that Ned Yost argued late in the game yesterday. It was apparent that Little missed it big time. It was on that play that Bonifacio was called out on. So this really all started yesterday. You're not allowed to argue balls and strikes. And he's chirping right there at Will Little, and that's the end of it for him.
Now, Yost wasn't pleased with the call last night on Bonifacio that came in the 8th inning when Little was at first base. Back-to-back bases loaded walks here in the 8th, and the Blue Jays have taken a 4-2 lead.